explains.
Flooding severely impacts Ghana's economy, causing an estimated $1.7 billion, which is equivalent to 20 billion Ghana cedis in cumulative economic losses over a recent 10-year period. Combined with drought, climate shocks can cut the nation's GDP by up to 15.23%, dragging down productivity, destroying infrastructure, and straining the national budget. Floods cause massive damage to physical infrastructure like roads, bridges, culverts, and power networks. For instance, a single major flood disaster in Accra can cause over $100 million in direct property and infrastructure damage. Yeah, a single flood, like what happened from Sunday night to Monday, can cost Accra over $100 million in direct property and infrastructure damage. The agricultural sector loses approximately $20 million annually from flood and weather hazards, which inflates food prices nationwide. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Afternoon Business Review, where we tell you what moves money and markets. My name is Agyemang Prempeh, sitting for your regular host Nanoye Ankara. Welcome on board, and this is how we start today's show. And let's begin from the commodity market. I should say, let's check how much crude oil, gold, and cocoa is faring on the international market. And for crude oil, it is selling at $70 per barrel. Gold is being pegged at $4,030 per ounce, and cocoa is priced at $5,014 per metric ton. Now on the currency board this morning, from the Bank of Ghana, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis 33 pesos and is buying at 11 cedis 32 pesos. The pound is trading at 15 cedis 2 pesos and is buying at 15 cedis flat. The euro is going for 12 cedis 94 pesos and is buying at 12 cedis 93 pesos. Please note these rates could be slightly different at the various forex bureau and banks. And as we do say always here on Class 91.3 FM and on the Afternoon Business Review, don't go to the black market, don't go to Circle, neither should you go to Accra, Tudu or Airport. From that, let's check straight the stock market, and Caitlin Dazi of Data Bank is on standby.
The stock market sustained its downward momentum, closing with 3 gainers and 4 laggards. The top gainers were Clydestone, Intravenous Infusions, and GCB Bank, while Guinness Ghana, MTN Ghana, and Republic Bank declined. Driven by the price gains, the Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index declined to a year-to-date gain of 68.12%, while the Databank Stock Index surged to a year-to-date gain of 86.87%. Ecobank Ghana and MTN Ghana traded the most, accounting for 78.8% of the market turnover. For Databank Research, Caitlin Dazi.
In the studios of Class 91.3 FM, my name is Agyemang Prempeh. It's now time to dash straight to stories shaping the local and international scenes. And let's start from the local front. And the World Bank has raised its 2026 growth forecast for Ghana, signaling renewed confidence in the country's macroeconomic recovery as the economy moves from post-crisis rebound towards a more sustainable expansion path. The following report has more. In its June 2026 Global Economic Prospects Report, the World Bank projected Ghana's real GDP growth at 4.8% for 2026, up from its January estimate of 4.6%. The revised forecast comes after an estimated 6% expansion in 2025, suggesting that while growth is expected to moderate this year, the slowdown reflects a transition to a more stable medium-term trajectory rather than a weakening of the economy's underlying fundamentals. The new projection places Ghana above the sub-Saharan African average of 4% expected in 2026, reinforcing the country's position among the region's stronger performing economies such as fiscal consolidation, easing inflation, and improving macroeconomic stability. The World Bank also revised Ghana's medium-term outlook upward, forecasting growth of 4.9% in 2027 and 5% in 2028 respectively. The projections point to cautious optimism that ongoing reforms, stronger policy discipline, and improved investor sentiment could sustain economic momentum beyond the immediate recovery phase. So that was the news desk report. Now let's move elsewhere. And Egypt is set to unlock about $1.64 billion in fresh financing from the International Monetary Fund after the IMF staff reached agreement with authorities on policies to support completion of the country's seventh review and that extended fund facility and secure review under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility. The agreement, which remains subject to the IMF management and executive board approval, would make available SDR 1.11 billion dollars, equivalent to 1.11 billion, which is equivalent to 1.50 billion dollars under the extended fund facility. And let's wrap up with this story on the international scene in China. China's richest businessman has been sentenced to 30 days in jail in the US for running $1 billion scam. The former property tycoon fled China to the US in 2017, where he reinvented himself as a Communist Party critic and built a loyal online following. But he was later convicted on charges of fraud and money laundering. New York Court Judge Annalisa Torres said the business tycoon had preyed on those seeking to bring democracy to China, taking their money to the fund lavish lifestyle. So that's it for stories shaping the local and international scenes. So it's some 45 minutes past the hour 12, and you're still listening to the afternoon business review here on Class 91.3 FM with me, Agyemang Prempeh. And today for our big conversation, we are talking about flood insurance. So I've actually titled it this way. So I just want you to understand Ghana's insurance fight big climate stress test of 2026. And today on the afternoon business review, being joined on the phone line by Solomon Latte, who is the president of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana. So we are having this conversation on this one. So let me bring Mr. Latte on the line so that we can have a conversation with him. Hello, Mr. Latte, if you can hear me, good afternoon and thanks for joining us. So we are still raising the line to speak with Solomon Latte, who is the president of the Chamber of Insurance Institute of Ghana. Yeah, so we have Solomon Latte, who is the president of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana, on the line. Hello, Mr. Latte. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I trust you are fine, sir.
Yes, I'm good.
Right. So today we are having a conversation about flood insurance here in Ghana, and this stems from Sunday's downpour through to yesterday, and we woke up to the news, flood all over and all that. First off, I want to understand from your position where you sit as the president of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana. Help us understand what flood insurance is.
Okay, so thank you very much, and good afternoon to all your listeners and viewers. There's nothing really there like flood insurance. So insurance for flood is just part of the fire and allied perils policy, or sometimes the assets or risk policy, which is policy for fire, floods, and inundation, earthquakes, explosion, all those things. So that's the bigger policy. In fact, there are fire policies that do not even cover flood, depending on the location, etc. So basically, that's it. The fire policy will provide cover when a flood occurs and people's property is damaged, etc. Basically, that's what it covers.
Right. So you did mention that we don't necessarily have, say, a flood insurance. So what's the percentage of homes and businesses in the country currently who have, or let's say, probably under an insurance policy which can cover for flood and other related disasters?
That's the $1 million question. We live in a country where, as you may be aware, insurance penetration is around 1%. And insurance penetration means um, the value of insurance as a percentage of GDP. So if we say 1%, it means total insurance premiums received in the country over the GDP is about 1%. Now, there's also insurance coverage, which is the number of people who have some access to insurance, which is close to 40%. But the actual protection that insurance gives to the country runs into several billions of dollars. So for me, whenever people ask me this question about insurance penetration, what I say is that insurance in Ghana is underpriced. And because of that, maybe we don't get the quality of protection we need. That's one. Now back to your question. I can't tell you what percentage of households have insurance because I don't know. But what I know is that majority of Ghanaians don't want to insure. So you will see many households, many vehicles dumped in water. Those who have insurance will be taken care of, but those who don't have insurance would not. So many households that you see people weeping and wailing and houses underwater and others, they have insurance. Of course, items inside your house, your TVs, your laptops, your bed, furniture, everything. If you have insurance, they'll be taken care of. Those who have their walls collapsing and all those things, insurance will pay because that's if they have fire insurance with flood, that's what happens.
Right.
So yes, if they have the insurance, it will cover them.
Mr. Lati, so you are the institution, you are the insurers. You go out to seek for clients and all that. What's the reason that's not making people get their properties insured?
Very good. So you see, your question itself answers the question. You said we are the people who go to seek people to buy insurance. Nope, I don't think when it comes to insurance for your property, your assets, or your life, anybody should come to you before you decide to buy. I have friends who were buying a car. You are buying a car for $160,000. When he's asked to pay insurance of, let's say, $10,000 or $5,000, he says he doesn't have money. So clearly, they didn't factor the cost of insurance into their budget. But you should know that if you are buying an asset or building a house, you should know that something can happen. And whenever such a thing happens, there should be a way of getting back your assets. And that is insurance. So um, we asked for the education. We are doing a lot of education out there. We have the uh, IACG Insurance Awareness Coordinators Group that is at the forefront of insurance education in Ghana. The Insurance Brokers Association is doing insurance education. The Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana, of which I'm the head, is doing insurance education. There is the Ghana Insurance Association. There are so many. The National Insurance Commission itself is also doing a lot of insurance education. But I think it is the challenge is the culture. We don't feel that insurance is a need until things like this happen. And we give ourselves a lot of excuses. Oh, as for insurance, they will take your money. When something happens, they won't pay. Today, come and see the number of people who are making claims. A few years back, we had this same issue, twin disasters. What happened at Circle? I remember my company alone paid $4.2 million to one company. Then
Wow.
today, I can assure you several people will make claims because they have insurance. So if people want to give excuses that oh, insurance people don't do this, so they are not buying, that is your loss. You don't need somebody to come to you and tell you to buy insurance before you protect your own house that you have sweat to build and bought furniture and TVs and stuff into the house. If you, the rain affected me, it came into my house. Fortunately, I didn't have it destroy a lot of things inside the house, but the compound was seriously flooded. If I didn't buy insurance and the house is broken down or something, what happens? I'm thrown out there. So nobody should tell you to protect your assets. Just as we buy security, we get security people to stand in front of our homes or our offices. We buy CCTV. Insurance is a necessity, and people should not come to us before we buy insurance. But if you have somebody coming, even better, because that person is going to advise you on what type of insurance to take and what not to take. So that's how I see it.
Right. It's good you did mention of claims, so it actually leads me to my next question. I want to know what has been the claims experience for particularly, let's say, flood disasters or policy that covers flood related issues for, let's say, the past 2 or 3 years.
Um, For fire, generally, I would like to talk about fire, not flood, because
Okay.
fire,
Okay.
flood is under fire insurance. The loss ratios, and we call it loss ratios, that's the ratio of insurance claims or losses to premiums. They are quite low on our market. Loss ratios for fire is quite low. But when it happens, the frequency is quite low. So we don't have a lot of fires or houses burning down or floods happening within the year. But when it happens, it's huge. For example, there was a time where I had one warehouse.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Lassie, are you on the line? Hello. We are trying to re-establish connection with Mr. Latte. Since we are losing him, as and when we get him, we will re-establish the line and put. Hello, Mr. Latte. Can you hear me? Let's re-establish connection with Mr. Latte one more time and see. Hello, Mr. Latte. Are you on the line?
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's better now.
okay. So I was saying that there was a time we were trying to, we had,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. A loss, just one loss. And we used to about $5 million, just one warehouse. Meanwhile, the premiums that people pay each year on their assets were way below. Sometimes a whole company is paying like $3,000 or $5,000 a year for the assets. You understand? So insurance, like I was saying, is really cheap, and the claims are huge when it occurs. Today, as I'm talking to you, we are paying like I told you, a million, like 10 million CD, up to about 10 million CDs a day in claims.
Wow.
So with these floods, it is going to go up tremendously, especially those for companies. Okay. So for me, the only thing I'll say is that it is up to us as individuals. Insure your property. It doesn't matter if it doesn't flood in 10 years, you are okay. But if it floods, you have something to indemnify you and put you back on track.
Very well. Before I let go of you, you've almost exhausted our time. I know you just mentioned that sent a word of caution to Ghanaians out there to insure their properties. But for a country like Ghana, down here, do you think it's about time we make, say, flood, fire insurance and other policies mandatory for mortgages and businesses?
Of course, if everything is linked, look, today people are shouting on government, help us, help us, help us. But if they have compulsory insurance, they wouldn't need to go to government. But let me hasten to add that the flooding situation in Ghana, if government or the state doesn't do what they are supposed to do, then very soon the insurance companies may not even accept to insure anybody for flood anymore.
Why do you say
Because,
that?
yes, because insurance doesn't cover, it's not supposed to cover something that is going to happen. We know it's going to happen every year. Every year we know that. So if insurance know that this place is a flood zone, they are not supposed to cover it because the insurance company in Ghana will not get reinsurance support to write their business. So they won't do it. So it is important that our state, especially the district assemblies, sometimes I'm surprised. They see somebody building in a waterway, nobody will touch it. They will wait for the building to be done. Floods come, destroy people's assets. Now, for political reasons, they go and break it down. I mean, who does that? I expect that something happens. The district assembly, somebody will go and see it and stop it right there. But they don't do it. Now people are dying. Then they come back and say, well, now we are going to break it.
Right. Very well. Hello, Mr. Latte. Are you on the line? I think we can end the conversation here. And it's actually 1 p.m. and that's how we wrap up the conversation today on the afternoon business review. So you actually had the president of the Chamber of Insurance Institute of Ghana, Solomon Alate. So he says, as a Ghanaian, as a business owner, if you own a home, any property, do well to insure your property so that you can have some good claims when there is some form of disaster. He also called on the government to help tackle the flooding situation in the country, else it will put insurers out of business as they will be interested to reinsure and serve insurance packages. You also mentioned that it should be a sign of a call of worry to district assemblies in terms of people building on unauthorized places. So these are the calls from the Chamber of Insurance Institute of Ghana. And you had the president on the show this afternoon, Solomon Lati. My name is Agyemang Prempeh. That's how I wrap the show today on Class 91.3 FM. This has been the afternoon business review. Catch us same time tomorrow as usual. You don't need a dictionary to understand business news. Good afternoon.